Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode of the Gift of Gaming podcast in 2024. That's all about everything happening in 2024. And there's another Final Fantasy VII trailer. It's me, your host, Darren Wade, on the Gift of Gaming podcast, and joined by, of course, because it's Final Fantasy VII orientated, Craig the Critical Nolan. Craig, how are you?
I'm good, Darren. Can't wait to talk about this shit.
And I know that Kev would be here too if he was still in the country, but Kev has returned to New Zealand for a bit of time.
He was in the country last time, though, and didn't bother, so I don't know about that.
Was it just you and me who did the last trailer? Oh my god, shame on Kevin. I'm sure there was some excuse anyway. So yeah, there was a new trailer that came out, only a minute long, for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We're getting real close now, Craig.
Really close.
We're just over a month out. But before we get into that, it's 2024. How's your 2024 been so far, Craig? How are you?
We're 3 weeks in, and for me, most of that 3 weeks was just counting the days until Rebirth comes out. I think now we're at like 36, 37 or something like that, you know? Yeah. But it's just getting harder and harder, especially with trailers like this coming out. I'm just super excited.
Just give me the game.
Just give me the game. Give me the demo at least, you know?
So that was my next question. I was, or not my next question, my next point. I was looking at this Ever Crisis, that mobile game, which I play the odd time. I hop onto it. It's just a bit of fun. They release new chapters here and there, so they're always behind what we're seeing in the remake trilogy.
Are they? Because initially they said they were releasing the first full version of FF7 as the perk. So that was a lie.
That was a lie. So it's chapter based, and they only released, so like in terms of when they were getting to the point where you might meet Sid or Vincent, it was just kind of paused there until we got our first looks, and then the chapters were released. So they weren't, and in your fear.
But are Sid and Vincent now playable?
I haven't gotten to that stage just yet. I switched because there's three things you can play. You can play, or is it 3 or 4? There's the Final Fantasy VII. There's the kind of the Crisis Core, and then there's the Ever Crisis, which is the.
And what, you're getting a couple of chapters of each, and they're just randomly going back and forth.
And they just so they kind of
release no continuation.
No, well, no, there isn't. I think I played through the normal Final Fantasy VII up to, and it wasn't that far. I think it was. I hadn't even come close to getting out of Midgar really, before I was given chapters for. Crisis Core, which I played, and then I got some chapters for the first Soldier, and I'm not overly that didn't hook me.
No matter how good that was, I would hate that format. You know, I would just be bitching like crazy. But I guess where we are now, like, what is this?
And it's a mobile game as well. I hate playing games on my mobile. I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks like I'm playing like just a slightly downgraded version of Remake in terms of like how the characters.
Well, not in terms of combat. You're just fucking swiping nothing really.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of visuals, I'm like, hey, it looks like I'm playing like a decent version of Crisis Core. But there is a countdown on that until Final Fantasy VII Day, which is January 30th, I think. It's like
31st.
31st is the anniversary.
I know, it's my birthday.
There you go.
The game came out on my 10th birthday.
What a day. So there is a countdown to it, so I have a funny feeling that we will end up getting some kind of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's whispers of whispers, if you like.
Nice.
Like, thank you.
Well done.
Of a state of play, PlayStation doing a state of play over the next week or two as well. So I'm wondering, will all this come together to give us another trailer of Rebirth and a drop of the demo?
I think I'm at the point now where, like, even that 60-second trailer, I was so hesitant to watch it that I kept putting up comments on a bunch of the videos being like, hey, is it okay to watch this, until someone told me if it was or not.
Yeah.
And someone finally was like, it's mostly old footage, and I was like, okay, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Because I was worried it might have been like the launch trailer, and people were saying for the original FF7 the launch trailer spoiled loads of stuff. So I'm not going to do that. Like, I think this is my cutoff point now. I might throw some more theories up there, but in terms of like the content that they put out, it's reached a stage now where like it's so close that there's no point in me like indulging on that when I could just savor it for the game itself.
And I think there was a trailer that, and we said it on the trailer, was probably the third trailer that was released, the second or third trailer, that showed a lot of the locations, which looked amazing. But that was the kind of thing that I was hoping to avoid. I was like, give me characters talking to each other, whatever else. But those certain locations, we saw a lot of like I think we saw like the Cosmo Canyon and underneath Junon and Gone Gaga as well, all these little places, and Cam, and I was like, I'd like to walk into these places fresh. So watching a trailer now at this stage is getting kind of dangerous, and this is the probably, I think, my last little bit of. I say that, but I'm so hungry for Final Fantasy VII content.
I am, I say it too, like, but I'm saying it here and now. Maybe someone can hold me accountable, like, you know, if I'm saying it.
He's on the podcast, you can't watch it, Craig. In terms of, on the topic of Final Fantasy, but before we actually go in to break down the trailer, I was quite sick last week. So I was like, I've got some spare time.
Yeah, your voice is like crazy different.
I know, yeah, right.
It's nice, it's sexy. You're doing
I feel like
Phoebe Buffet thing.
Yeah. Give me your like used tissues and I'll keep this cold going. That's so gross. But so I was quite sick last week, and I said, maybe this will be the time where I start my critical playthrough of Kingdom Hearts, put it on critical mode. And it was, while I was kind of sitting there feeling quite sick and a headache, I was like, that's way too much of a fucking undertaking. There's no way I'm going to do that. So instead, I purchased the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy 1 and platinumed it.
Final Fantasy 1?
Yeah. The original
shit.
It's old. Like, I mean, it's old. It's an old game, but it was really fun to play, and it was done. So the Pixel remaster, there's a Game Boy Advance version of it that exists as well that had kind of updated, just updated pixel art. Like some of the stuff just looked better. This Pixel remaster is based off the original artwork, which I kind of appreciated. I feel like I'm playing like
that's cool.
as it was. And I love the job system in it. It's really, really basic, but it was kind of cool to. I never finished Final Fantasy 1 originally. I got to a point where that you come across a robot and he gives you something, and I think he's meant to tell you where to go, but I like skip past that dialogue. And this is years ago that I tried it and couldn't figure out for life.
Classic old school RPG.
Yeah,
if you missed a bit of dialogue, you're dead in the water.
And I could have, thinking back on it, I probably could have just checked up online how to do it, but I was playing this on my Game Boy Advance.
Because when Final Fantasy 1 came out, there was no internet.
So you got to do it the right way.
Do that.
So I played through it this time, and it is still hard in terms of you got to do a lot of like walking. Like nothing is, there's no hand holding. Like it's an old game where it's like, oh well, you have this warp cube, and I'm like, what am I meant to do with this? No one will tell me. You just got to go into every town until someone says, "Oh, the warp cube."
I no longer like only kids have the energy and like patience to do that type of thing.
Or sick Darren, or really sick Darren.
I can't. I would freak out within 5 minutes.
But I finished the game and platinumed it. There was like one or two challenges at the end that I just turned it back on to kind of finish. There's like a secret puzzle game. If you hold certain buttons, it opens up a puzzle game that you can play that the developers just put in back in the fucking early 90s or late 80s, whenever that game was made. But it's got me hooked. I think I'm going to go through. Not immediately, but I think I will at some point in this year get like Final Fantasy 2 and go through that, and Final Fantasy 3, the Pixel remaster. And actually,
you're just so dying for rebirths that you'll take anything. Anything with the name
on it.
I'll take a Final Fantasy game
from
give it to
the
me.
late 80s at this stage. Yeah, no, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. And then, of course, while I was playing that and we were sick, you sent the message being like, guys, there's another trailer for Rebirth. And I said, holy shit, I was so surprised because the theme song trailer that came out doesn't actually seem like it came out that long ago. So they are blasting them out at this stage.
Yeah, they are really.
But I suppose should we crack in?
Yeah, let's fucking go.
So it was a minute-long trailer. I have it scene by scene, and even though it's a minute long, it's done to the.
But there's a lot more shots than most of the other trailers, just because every second is almost like a new screenshot.
Yeah,
you know,
and we were just absolutely, just forced scenes into our face constantly. From
you even got a lot of new perspective from the other trailers, because a lot of the footage is from similar events, but now you have like a different angle, or now you actually can see something different.
And speaking of it, so we'll start off the trailer, and again, just for all our fans, I'm sorry this is another Final Fantasy 7, but at this stage, if you're listening to the podcast, we're big 7 fans. So
and it was meant to be a week off here, so this is for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. A bonus episode. You're welcome. So we'll start off with the trailer opens up with that classic, like the famous Sephiroth scene of Sephiroth in the fire and turning around and walking away before kind of there's a quick snap to, I forget, is that guy he's not Tifa's, that's not Tifa's.
No, and
it's just
he's an unnamed, he looks like some sort of sheriff of Nibelheim.
Yeah.
But I've just, remember I bought that book for Kev, like Tifa's backstory. I've actually finished that now.
Nice.
And it does go into how Tifa got her like cowboy outfit, but she just got it as like hand-me-downs, and it wasn't mentioned that a specific character wears that, because if the sheriff is kind of in that kind of similar outfit too,
it's like the fashion
but
of Nibelheim.
There's no named character, so we have no idea who that is.
So he's kind of, I guess, it uses the sheriff, and it clicks to Cloud, I guess pleading with Sephiroth kind of, and then we hear the slicing of the sword, so we assume that Sephiroth has killed someone else in front of Cloud's eyes, and then that scene where he walks away through the fire, and then we get the Square Enix logo.
Well, that's what we assume. I mean, for all we know, it could easily be like in the modern game and Cloud's just going into some location, maybe even Junon, and the building's on fire, and he's looking at that and having the flashback.
Possibly.
Like it's not necessary.
That moment. We get into like this next scene is straight after the Square Enix logo, and the music is building, and it's the original battle theme, one of your favorites, Craig.
It's the battle theme for Abzu, which was my favorite boss fight and favorite song in the whole of the original game. Like
Abzu was your favorite boss fight?
Oh, it's just because the music, when it came on, it was like bum boom, boom.
It does.
And I was like, what is this? Like, and then he steps out with the fuck. Oh man, it's just so good. Like, it was a very interesting boss fight too.
Yeah,
not so much the second time, but like,
no, with the first time is a good one. So this is I think one of my favorite bits of the trailer is we get 3 snapshots of what looks to just be devastation in Midgar. The first one is from the earlier trailer where we get that aerial view of Midgar on fire. The second one that we get is citizens running down the street with a big explosion behind them. And then the third snapshot we get is Shinra soldiers on their motorbikes and kind of security cars on the highway.
That was probably one of the more interesting things about the trailer.
That is my favorite. And it's only about a second long. That clip with the Shinra soldiers and the Secura car kind of on the highway with a whole building coming down and collapsing.
It almost made it look like that whole Singularity event actually happened. Like,
yeah.
You know, where all the buildings were just flying around the place. Like,
so my assumption here is that is them chasing the Final Fantasy VII crew,
the party
without Cloud, because this is the alternate timeline, and this is them chasing the guys. But you know, our ROG team has already done. They've already gone into the Singularity and caused these massive kind of this hurricanes. This looks like it's the hurricane effect or the Singularity effect on the other timeline potentially.
Yes, on the
looks amazing.
What was it? The Terrier timeline.
Yeah, because the Terrier timeline is Zach's one, right? Yeah, Terrier timeline.
The Beagle is OG timeline, and the Terrier is Zach's timeline. And it looked like, it'd be great to see if like there was massive implications from that. Like, it wasn't just a tornado, because I assumed from the first trailer that, the main party are gone, and that was just them being lazy because they didn't want to have 2 versions of everyone.
Yeah.
I just assumed that was natural laziness in terms of video game story. But it could have bigger implications, like Rufus could be dead, like a lot of members of Shinra, because it looks like that's part of the Shinra building. Like
in the old trailers where we got that like the panning camera in the sky following the helicopters with the big news report, it looks like the main Shinra building has been damaged at the very least as well. Well, there's some massive building kind of on fire that you kind of think, well, it's at the bottom of the headquarters. So yeah, it's interesting. And the developers have come out and had said that Zack and the things that Zack do and the things that happen in Zack's timeline have a massive effect on the world or the universes as a whole, you know. So you're right, there could be a lot going on there.
I mean, just looking at the box art makes you think that Zack is way more important than he should be, you know.
Yeah.
Just because it's Cloud, Sephiroth, and Zack.
And this is where we enter the Nomurian danger zone, essentially, where things are going to get real. Things are going to get real weird, I think, in the beginning. Yes. I don't think so much at the start of the game. I think when we
think in the Beagle timeline, things will pretty much proceed on course, and then in the Terrier time, they're just going to do lots of wacky shit that they know they can get away with because there's 2 versions anyway.
Yeah. So the next scene we get is it's another throwback scene, that kind of something we've already seen before. It's Zack carrying Cloud, and with him quote saying what happened to this place, and then we get a quick snapshot to Tifa, just Tifa's kind of face or her lips saying it was Sephiroth. And it's interesting because, and like, I love how these trailers are edited, because those two definitely don't cross paths.
They're not even similar. That's two different timelines.
Two different timelines,
like but months apart, probably.
Brilliantly done that it's like, what happened to this place? Because this trailer, and we'll get into it as we go through the scenes, this trailer is definitely setting up the villain of the series, more so than any of the other trailers, I think. This one is so hyper Sephiroth focused compared to the
I would
trailers.
say it's more hyper Genova focused. Because I don't even think you... Well, I mean, you do with the Nibelheim scene, but there's a lot more implications to... Like, in the very first game, there was scenes where, like, you would talk to Sephiroth, and then inexplicably you're in a battle with Genova, and you were like, what's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And then when you beat the bad guy, like, there'd be a piece of Genova on the ground, whereas this trailer shows off a lot of that actually in front of your eyes, as opposed to it just being Sephiroth 1 second and Genova the other.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot more to link that together. And like, I am a big fan of the idea that Genova is the true villain of the story and Sephiroth is just a means to an end. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
I prefer that.
I mean, because if Genova was alive and not, I guess, a test subject or whatever you might consider, but yes, that would be because they want to take over the planet and destroy everything and use it as a ship to sail across the cosmos. Isn't that what he says in Advent Children?
Yep.
So I mean, it's so out there, but it's so cool. Like, I mean, so next we get a lot of so we're still kind of on the whole, it was Sephiroth. Then we get a flash to Sephiroth kind of hovering in amongst the purple mist that we associate with Genova. So,
but he has a piece of Genova up to his face.
Yes,
you see that? And that's that's the same, because that's definitely on the boat.
Yes,
because when you beat Genova on the boat, a little piece of her arm falls to the ground, and that's what Sephiroth is using to hold up to his face to allow him to transform.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It seems like in order to like fully take on the form of Jenova, you have to have an active piece of Jenova.
Yeah.
Or the first time he ever did it, he chopped off Jenova's head and cradled that in with him. In Advent Children, they had the neck or whatever
was left of the head
in
that box.
Yeah, it was very poorly
so certain people
and they have the arm or something. So it's happening a lot.
And he did have, he was kind of using a mixture of, and we don't really know how it all works, but he was using a mixture of those, the reunion cloak guys. There was always one of them, like he'd summon Jenova, and then Jenova would disappear, but it'd be the body of one of them. So it's like he sacrificed one of these guys who I guess have Jenova cells in them or whatever's making them sick.
Anytime I think you see Sephiroth, it's actually just one of those clones
until we get he's just using. Then we get a cool scene that he's glowing purple, and then we get a cool scene of Barrett kind of looking very troubled, and it's just him saying it can't be. Now for me,
that's cool.
Yeah, and I think that scene is again it's even where he is even got like kind of a dark, where Barrett is got a dark purple hue, and I guess it's made to look like he's in the same place that maybe Sephiroth just was, but in the background it looks like it could be the haunted mansion or somewhere in the Golden Saucer, and I'm wondering, is this Barrett's reaction to seeing Dyne?
That would make sense, because it's if you think of one moment in all of FF7 where Barrett might say that,
it would be seeing Dyne.
It would be that. Yeah. So I think it might be the case, but again, it could be absolutely anything because of the way the way they clip it, and because you see the purple mist, it still does look like it's that scene on the boat with Sephiroth, Jenova, and maybe before they're fighting Jenova might be showing off its power and just turning into loads of different shit, you know.
And
who knows?
Like, oh my god, it can't be,
because like Yuffie's like, get this thing away from me, and she runs off, and Barrett's freaking out. Like a lot must be happening in that scene.
Yeah. The next scene is we get a good look at Junon. We get like a really cool clip of just this main street and it's probably our clearest picture of the High Wind to date, up in the kind of the top right corner of the airship. Looks amazing. And then there's another clip to all the soldiers marching on the street in Junon as well, which we've kind of already seen.
But what was cool about that is you could actually see what's the soldier's name that everyone loves?
Kunzel from Crisis Core?
No, he's not a soldier. But the guy on the bike who you fought in the first game.
I
can't remember his name.
I can't remember.
I've gone blank.
But to me, it
showed him again in that scene. Yeah. He's just driving up on the side. I hope that's like cool that like you're marching and then a bunch of soldiers are on bikes like to the side.
Yeah,
like,
and a whole parade for him. Yeah, I forget what that guy's name is. And it's funny because talking to our friend Niall, who never played the OG series, he loves him. But I remember when I talked to you and Kev when we played through it the first time, we were like, who is this fucking... Like, I don't like this character. And even on my second playthrough, I'm still like, I don't know how I feel about it. He's just super wacky.
He's just very over the top.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we're playing a
But I like the idea, game. At least they put in another soldier, because in the OG game, they reference soldier constantly.
But you never have any experience with
there's not one soldier other than those, like... Type C soldiers who are just regular Shinra grunts with soldiers.
And there's no dialogue with those.
And there's nothing.
We now clip to Cloud kind of discussing, I think, a quote that Sephiroth wants to, quote, rule over the planet. So that's what I mean by this trailer, is that I think it's giving the people who haven't played OG7 the idea that, like, okay, you are no longer, it's you versus Shinra, this is a you versus Sephiroth type scenario.
So it's just more story type stuff. Don't need to go over that. That next clip now I think you're about to mention, isn't this, it shows Sephiroth with his sword kind of. Like, I mean, some people are saying that could be that moment again where he's like attacking Aerith because there's that windy background or whatever.
The windy background had a kind of the dark greenish hue to it. I think it's another cut from the final battle from Remake, with all of them on the structure. It has that same kind of vibe about it. There's a couple of scenes from this trailer that are from
they're definitely using
I don't think they're going to show. The only thing the piece they showed was in that last trailer with Aerith praying. I don't think they're going to show a hint of anything else to do with that. I think they're just going to keep that.
Because
even
they shouldn't.
I didn't want to see. I
mean, and it looks like those could be whispers in that same shot as well.
Who knows?
But I don't know. They could easily be just editing in whispers that won't actually be in the final product.
One of my favorite trailer things that did that was when the trailer for Endgame came out, or Infinity War actually. They had this scene where all of the heroes were running against the army, and they had the Hulk running.
Yeah, and that didn't happen.
And that didn't happen because we didn't realize that Mark Ruffalo or that Eric or the Banner or whatever else is having a tough time. So the whole it's
so he was actually in the Hulkbuster suit. But
So I mean, I'm like, I'd be okay if they did stuff like that.
They could be doing stuff like that with FF7 as well, like, you know.
So after that, then we get a cool kind of the music really crescendos at this point, and it's nothing but cuts of different members of the party just fighting. So we see like a scene of Cloud and Aerith doing a synergy move together. Yes, it looks cool against that, like the junior boss, Barrett and Yuffie and Tifa. Yeah, all kind of getting like just a clip of them fighting things, which is quite cool. Then what else do we get?
And then immediately after is when the music crescends.
Yeah, and it's such a great tune.
I think, was it called the Midgar Golem or something like that?
The Midgar Zolom.
Zolom, yeah, that was it.
So we get
which can spit fire now.
Yes, that was interesting. So just before that is one of my I don't think it's the best scene in the trailer, but it's one that I love, and you hate it because it stops the music. We get a bit of silence, and it's the team that we got from the end of remakes. This is prior to having Yuffie and Kate Sith and stuff on the team. It's the 5 OG guys from remake standing there in what looks like the swamp, and I think Cloud says, what does he say? Did I not?
Let's get to work.
Let's get to work. And I love that. I'm like, he's the real leader of the team. He's like, let's get to work because we've got shit to do. We got Sephiroth to find. Let's cross this swamp. And then we get the cool battle scene with the Midgar Zolom. And yes, he breathes fire now. And that fight looks.
It looks like Cloud gets roasted in that thing as well. You think he.
And we get kind of the weird, which I think is very much American trailer style things when it comes to launch. We get that weird kind of like like the screen just changes and there's just like, here comes Rebirth, or like the weird text on the screen.
Yeah, it is. And with the text, you're seeing the colors from the
cover.
The front of the cover. So I don't know, like that plane of existence seems to be important, and I'm wondering, is that the same plane that like Sephiroth spoke to Cloud at the end, the whole 7 seconds thing, or is it a new thing entirely? But they're really emphasizing it, so we can only speculate. We don't know.
Straight after that clip we get just a quick thing of Hojo and saying you are truly a model soldier, and while he's saying that, we get clips of just Cloud just wrecking normal soldiers.
I'd like to think that that's part of Cloud's memories, and like maybe it was the last thing he remembered before losing consciousness, because remember, he's thinking that he's Zack or whatever, so maybe before, like, Hojo's hovering over him, which is actually Hojo hovering over Zack and just being like, ooh, you're a model soldier, I'll use you for my experiment,
And I do love that we have that knowledge now. Like, I mean, us going into it for the big spoiler, we won't say it straight out just in case there's people listening to be like, oh my god, I didn't know. But if you're going to play the new Crisis Core remake, you're going to get that thing spoiled. But it's cool for us watching this and not knowing. But like, we're seeing things, we're like, oh, is that the flashback?
It is great to see that, like, that Nibelheim incident seems to be getting new footage so often, like with Crisis Core, with Advent Children, with that 20-minute movie they did, Last Order.
Last Order, yeah.
So like, there's so many things. Even the book I read with Tifa, like, which I must say, the Tales of Two Paths with Tifa and Aerith is a terrible book, and like it goes up to just before the Nibelheim incident, and then Tifa's like, oh, and everything else happened exactly as Cloud said, and then she continues after that, and like that is such a cop out, like that she couldn't even though she's talking about it clearly, she didn't have the courage even then to say, hey, Cloud was actually wrong about a couple of things or anything.
He was never
she
there,
just went along with it, like even though she brought it up again, you're like, that's bullshit.
Come on, Tifa, this was your moment to clear the air. Then we get so this is where the trailer just went super hype for a lot of people, because the next scene is we get a Cloud kind of looking up to the sky, and hats off to the voice actor who's doing Cloud, because he screams Tifa, and I remember watching the trailer for the first time being like, damn, that is a lot of believable emotion that's in that scene. And it's interesting because he's looking up, and the next scene is Tifa kind of falling back down, and
she clearly falls in, because we saw the trailer where she was swimming in that water, and she saw the weapon. But I don't think we're gonna fight that weapon.
So that was my next question, because in the scene right after that, we see the weapon. Now, this is what I mean is, I'm like, when I first saw that, it was like in that original trailer, Tifa's kind of swimming in this water.
And we thought it was probably Bugenhagen's thing. We didn't realize she was actually underwater.
But this is what I mean. It still could be, because how she sees that weapon definitely is kind of like a vision, as opposed to it's right there in front of her.
But in this trailer we saw her falling towards water.
Yeah.
And in that previous trailer she was in water looking at that exact monster.
Yes.
So it's safe to assume she falls in.
Yeah. No. I don't think she falls in, but I don't know if those two scenes are related, because you have Red 13 describe, and again, it could be down to like brilliant editing, just the red herring just throws off. But she's in the water, and you hear Red 13 describing oh, these are guardian creatures. Do you know what I mean? That they're sent here to protect the world in its moment of need or whatever. So I'm looking at this being like, guardian creatures, is this emerald weapon? It looks too small to be emerald weapon.
It's probably a new type.
And just a new guardian thing.
I like they're probably going to redesign, because most of the weapons look kind of crap by today's standards.
Emerald weapon looks, I mean, that would be so shocking. It just looks so naff now, I think. I mean, but again, we got Hell House, you know? So
we did, yeah. But I mean, that's why another reason I don't think we're going to fight because most people think this is Gungaga. I don't see any evidence to say that that's true. It could easily be Coral or a different reactor, but let's just pretend it is Gungaga.
Okay. With the scene with Tifa
falling in. If it is Gungaga, they're definitely going to do, just like the Hell House, they're going to do a cool boss battle with the Triceratops tank. Triceratops.
And it's like,
so that's going to be the boss battle of Gungaga. It's not going to be a weapon.
The Triceratops, like, I would love if that actually.
I think they will do it. If they did the Hell House, I think.
And the Hell House is an interesting thing, because it's like the Hell House is meant to be like Don Corneo's or Sam Chocobo Sam's like number one champion or whatever else. It would be interesting that if in
Sam's champion was like the two robots.
Sorry, that was Corneo's top champion. Yeah, it would be very cool if in Gongaga, because the place is an old reactor and stuff's kind of fucked up, that there would be
an old guardian or something like that.
Yeah, but like scientists just fucking with all the weird macro stuff, they're just experimenting on things. We're gonna
dug up an old Triceratops fossil, somehow brought it to life, and then decided to merge it with a tank.
You know? I mean, it's
going to be a lot harder to explain that one than it was with the Hell House.
Yeah.
I hope they're.
I'm in for it. I'm in for it. So yeah, that's an interesting scene, and again, we don't know what's happening with the characters, because anything goes now from this point onwards. So there is always that bit of risk. But a really cool scene with like Cloud worried that he's lost Tifa. So we don't know, does that thing jump up and swallow her, or is she just trapped in the water and they have to fight this thing to be able to get to Tifa? I don't know, but it looks that scene had me hyped. Then we get a couple of skips to various members of the team. We see kind of like Yuffie and Red all fighting, Barrett fighting again as well. We kind of see like one or two more synergy moves, all looking great. And then we get kind of Sephiroth with his arms out. So I guess he's speaking to Cloud at this point. It looks like one of the points where he's trying to reason. Yeah, and he says, I will reclaim our world. And he says it like our world, and he's talking to... So I don't know if he's referencing himself and Genova there.
That's cool if he says our, so that it's like him and Genova have become one.
Yeah.
Because then I'd accept that, okay, it makes sense that Sephiroth isn't in full control. So he didn't fully go Darth Vader, and maybe Genova's influence is definitely there.
Huge on him, yeah. And then it finally kind of ends on the scene... It ends on the scene of what we got at the end of the remake, with kind of Cloud jumping at Sephiroth in the destruction of Midgar.
Is that the same scene? I wasn't sure. I should probably go back and watch it, because I was wondering, did Sephiroth have the wing in that final battle?
Yes, so that was one of the things that I didn't like about that final battle, is because we got all of the Sephiroth bits in it. I was like, guys, you could have saved the one wing danger. You could have saved the black wing for like part 2 or part 3. Like, they gave us every bit of the, like, we had a full blown Advent Children fight at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think to people playing the game who don't know OG 7 and didn't know Advent Children probably loved it. It was probably a really cool end of a game climactic part, but for me, I was like, I didn't need any of that. Just bring me straight on to part 2. I'll wait the 4 years to have a fight with Sephiroth. It doesn't bother me. Like, I want that, but they threw a lot in, and we got Sephiroth with a one wing in that fight as well. And I think that scene but the audio is different, because we get like a real heavy Cloud scream that ends the trailer.
It is odd,
and I think that scream isn't from him attacking Sephiroth in what we're looking at isn't what we're actually hearing.
Quite possibly, yeah. Like that scream may not even happen. It could be just like just you said with the Avengers thing, because it's odd like that he'd even make that sound. You know, it doesn't even sound like Cloud. You know, it's very much.
But it's hats off to and I think he's online, because there's the whole thing of the Cloud, Tifa, Aerith love triangle thing that apparently is. I mean, I kind of stay away from that toxic part of the internet, but that's like hopping off at the minute. With people just giving each other loads of shit and giving the developers loads of shit. Where the English voice actor for Cloud, who I think is doing a bang up job, I was worried that they didn't pick the Advent Children.
The characters are way more than just love.
Stop, yeah. But he's
maybe not Tifa, but yeah.
You're kicking all these people riled up again, Craig.
I just mean, because I remember watching Maximilian Dood play Crisis Core, and there's this one moment where like Cloud, I think, or Zack is checking his emails, and there's an email from Tifa asking about Cloud. And I was like, why would they have that? It just
so
makes Tifa so weak.
So needy.
To be wondering what Cloud's up to. Why should she give a fuck? Like, you know, it's
he disappeared off, and they made a promise when they were kids, but it's been fucking.
But
years.
even in the book, The Tales of Two Paths, Tifa thinks about Cloud constantly. Like, she doesn't stop thinking about him for no reason, like, you know.
Oh, but she loves him, Craig.
I guess. It's ridiculous. You know? It just makes her so weak, like, as a character.
So that's the end of the trailer. We get, like, the release date then, you know, coming soon with the box art, whatever, cool at the end. Has it made you more excited for Rebirth?
I was super excited because of the music and the way the trailer is so well made with like each bump of the soundtrack like cuts to a different scene.
Yeah,
even though you like the first 3 seconds are just Sephiroth, but each time it cuts, he's in a different location as though he's like shifting.
And it was a pain in the ass for me to try and get it scene by scene because I was like, fuck man, these scenes aren't even a second long, some of them, like, you know?
But they're just so well put together, and it's just such a great song. And even the way the trailer ends with like there's literally just nothing on the screen other than the box, and then about 3 seconds of the music ending, and I'm like, perfect. Just so if you weren't paying attention, if it was all visual, you get 3 full seconds of like the crescendo at the end just to go yes.
Do we get a demo? Are they going to give us a demo?
But it exists, right?
So
there's 2 parts to that demo. So it's like
there's 2 bits. There's there is the Nibelheim flashback, apparently a good chunk of it, and then there is the open world exploration just outside Junon, in what a lot of I guess content creators and stuff like that have gotten previews of. And
so I think yes, for 2 reasons. One, like you said, January 31st will be the 24-year anniversary. Well, 97, so I don't know, fucking 27-year anniversary, is it?
How could it be 27 years? Is it? Oh my god.
1997, I was 10 when it came out. So that was 26 years ago. So this will be the 26th anniversary.
And we were hoping for more Rebirth stuff from the 25th anniversary.
27th anniversary, sorry.
Yeah, because it was 2 years ago. We were hoping for lots more Rebirth stuff than we got, because our 25th anniversary, they have to give us
loads.
This will
be the 27th anniversary. So, I mean, that's a shit year. Like, it's a shit number to do.
But, I mean,
big.
you'd be mad to try and plan your release of your new games around your anniversaries. Like, it's just not going to happen. But, I mean, to do it on a anniversary would be great. And it's perfect because it would fall into the timeline that we got with the previous remake, where that came out a month before. Yeah, and this one would be a month before. And like that, a demo exists, a workable demo exists. And there was a preview event I was looking up online. There was a preview event held, I think, 2 days ago, and I saw like loads of pictures of promotional pictures of, you know, full size, just beautiful artwork of like Vincent and Sid, like the characters in the game. Do you know what I mean? The rendered characters in the game. And I'd say people went to that thing, whoever was invited, whoever was, and was able to play what would be at this stage the workable public demo, I would assume.
Yeah. And I think that they seem really confident in the game they've made. Like, they just seem full of like. So I think they'll release it and go, yeah, this is what it's going to be like.
There's
an attempt to get more people interested.
There's a real funny. Well, I mean, it's quite good. Some of the questions were stupid, but there was an interview put online by, I can't remember the group, if it was Game Informer or something like that, but they interview Hamaguchi.
I saw that with this quick short fire questions. Yeah. I watched that last night.
But he looks. What's quite nice about it is he looks so comfortable. It's like it's like everything is moving exactly as it should be. They're just very confident.
He nearly got cut out a couple of times though. Like, we had to like stop himself from answering some potential.
Because I think it was quite a clever way to interview someone when you're trying to get information of them, because you kind of you take them off guard with all these very kind of, because some of the questions were daft.
Most of the questions
what's your favorite color?
Stupid,
what's your whatever else? Blah 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 blah. Is Earth going to die? And it's almost like that whole, you try and catch them off guard.
The best question he got asked was, how come guns kill sometimes and sometimes they just take off a little bit of damage? He says, oh, that is interesting. I'm like, damn it, why didn't he try to address that? Because that is my biggest complaint with the game.
It's just pure storytelling. It's just pure storytelling, like, you know.
I just wish they would have done something like in Dune with the whole shields technology thing, where the slow blade penetrates and the weapon doesn't. Perfect. That's the best way.
But we're also playing. It's just a mad game anyway, Craig. I mean, bullets killing, not killing.
It is,
but
it just
really cares.
Like, every time I see 100 Shinra soldiers show up, I'm just like, that's not a threat. Like,
it's not a threat.
There's nothing they can do.
Yeah. They're just silly grunts.
Yes, they managed to somehow get Zack, but even that was implausible.
But, you know, Dine could potentially have a lethal bullet loaded into his gun arm at some point. You know, all that kind of stuff. So is that? Are you now at the point where you're going to go radio silence?
I think I'm going to have a media blackout now. I say that, but I mean, if something pops up, but if they release another like 30 to 60 second trailer, I'll know that's probably the launch trailer this time, because usually it's a week out from the game's release, maybe too. So there's a possibility we'll get a regular trailer in that time, or we could even just craft our theories of what we think is going to happen.
I think we will get I think there'll be a state of play, because there is meant to be a PlayStation State of Play soon, and I think that will be next week. And I don't have
another trailer.
I don't have any inside information. Yeah, I think we'll get, and it won't be a busy trailer. It won't be a trailer that has loads of crazy information. It'll be a very quick, snappy. I get maybe another one like a minute long, 30, 45 seconds long. We'll get a few cool snapshots of like some of the game that we've kind of seen before, but from different angles. And then it'll be like, they'll click to one of the guys, the directors, and say, and the demo is available after this showcase, and it'll be there to play.
Yeah, I think that you might be right about something like that. That would really get hype if they announced the demo in it.
And you could just play it right there. It was like the demo is available now, and I'd be like,
you had me convinced. Yeah, that sounds like something they would do.
The 31st is what date is the?
It's a Wednesday.
I know. Colin's sick to work on Thursday. So, but I mean, my next question is, because the demo is. It looks like it's chunky enough. I mean, depending on how you play it, because you could just go through it and finish it, but there's lots of gathering, a bit of exploration.
The first game had very closed off areas. Yes. This is far more expansive, so there's room.
And
for
so you're happy that you want to play the. I
will definitely play the demo.
So you're not going to black out on the demo.
No, I won't do a blackout on that, because even like when the original game came out, and I had a month to just play the first chapter. Yeah, I played it twice, and I loved it. It was just so refreshing.
And I think it will be cool to see. I'm just so excited for, because I know the part that they have just outside Junon isn't like wildly expansive, but just to be able to play, I'm just so interested to see how this feels as an RPG game. Because the first one, it's got the material. It's definitely an RPG game, but this kind of open world RPG vibe that I'm really excited to see if they've actually nailed or not. I can't. Yeah, I like this. I'll be playing the demo almost immediately.
For sure. I mean, I have to, because if you came down and said Craig, I'd just be like, that's it. I can't have you finish the next sentence. I have to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have to be right up there with you. Be like, I can't
just
listen.
The look in your eye would be enough to trigger me to
I can't listen to someone being excited and not knowing why they're excited.
Get to experience that. That's not fair. No, I won't have that.
Man, it's going to be great.
So I've said I'm not going to watch any more trailers, which means you can't watch any more trailers.
Why can't I watch any more trailers?
And Kev, if he ever talks to me, no, he can't watch any more trailers.
No, I'd never. I see. I said to myself, I a while ago, because I was listening to interviews. I was looking at the stuff that was, that was coming out online, like in terms of published interviews. I'm soaking up every little ounce of information I can get. And I said to myself, I was like, you're going to do one of two things, Darren. You're going to not pay attention to any of this, and you're going to play the game when it comes out, and it's going to be just magical start to finish. Everything's going to be a surprise. Or you're going to get absolutely sucked in to every little minute piece of content. Talk about it on the podcast, which we're on our 4th fucking episode of Final Fantasy stuff.
It's true.
And I'm kind of like now being like, well, I'm already in for a penny. Do I go in for that pound and I'll play the demo? I'll watch the next trailer. But you're right, the launch trailer makes me nervous because there were spoilers in the original remake.
And I missed that trailer, but when I went back and watched it, I was like, thank God I didn't see that. Because it spoils so much. Like Wall Market and stuff, it was great seeing that for the first time and getting that surprise. I'm like, I can't have that ruined. I'm already annoyed that they showed me Cosmo Canyon. Yeah. And the gold saucer was inevitable. I always knew they were going to show that because
it will be the showpiece. And I've seen screenshots of it.
It's gonna pretty much the hub for the game almost. We will probably go back there a lot.
Well, they did say that those mini games will keep kind of growing as the game goes on. So I have loads of reasons to go back. But there's a part of me, there's like a little nagging in the back of my head saying, Darren, you should stop before something gets spoiled on you. But I've enjoyed this journey of eating up everything so much, and all this theory crafting's just been class from these trailers. But potentially, guys, this could be the last trailer that I say potentially. I'm putting a little asterisk in that, potentially, because we might come up to if we
Is there anything else you would like them to include that they haven't shown you?
In the trailers?
No, not the trailers, but in the game itself. Is there anything you're hopeful for that they might do that hasn't been shown?
I don't think so. I think everything that they've shown is something that I've wanted to see. I think they have confirmed that chocobo breeding isn't a thing in the game potentially.
I didn't know that. That's handy. Yeah.
But I'm like, is that something that I wanted or didn't want? I'm kind of disappointed to hear that. But maybe in a game, in a modern day game, maybe that's just.
But in the OG game, breeding the chocobos was awful.
Yes,
because you had to get their stats up by racing them, and then you had to hold L or to cheat the game. Otherwise, you had to feed them for 10 hours or something.
I don't think there's anything that I haven't seen that I want them to include. Is there something that
I'd like more mini games in terms of Gold Saucer, like because the original had maybe 3 or 4. A couple of them were crap.
So you want brand new ones, like stuff that
because the Gold Saucer is massive. It seems in this iteration. So I'd like there to be more to do that keeps updating, and it's like I want to look forward to going back there. As though I'm excited, like the characters are, to go back and do stuff.
And I think if there was one thing that I would want to include, I had a good chat with Kev about this one of the days before we left to go to New Zealand. We watched like all the trailers again and just got into it. But the Queen's Blood, whatever that card game is. The
developer said he was most proud of that aspect of the game.
And what I hope he means, because we haven't seen it, we've only seen like a top-down picture of the game being played.
I didn't even see that, so I have no idea.
For a second, like it's just for a second. So I really want, if there was one thing that I haven't seen that I'd really love for them to include, is the ability to play that across the entire open world. And what I was saying to Kev was...
not just on that boat. I assumed you'd be able to play that Gold Saucer
as well. But I mean, I want people just everywhere just to like
just press square instead of pressing X, and then you can
I want to go and I want to talk to fucking, like at the very fucking end of the game, I want there to be a moment where I can talk to fucking, I don't know, Zach when our paths cross, and Zach has the fucking cloud card, and I can challenge
Zach.
It's just
like FF8 where like if you don't talk to specific characters, you won't get the cards.
That's what I mean. And I'd love that. I'd love to, because I love Triple Triad. This game looks like it's got
Triple Triad made Final Fantasy VIII a great game. Like, if the card game wasn't in FF8, so I would hate FF8 as a game.
Because I platinumed that like about the first year of COVID. I platinumed that game, and there's nothing in the platinum list that requires you to get any level of character cards. It's not a platinum trophy. You don't have to do it.
But
sucks.
I collected.
It is the best part. I collected them all anyway. I had Laguna, Kairos.
Did you get the Pew Pew card? I never got that one. The alien
yes.
fucker.
But so funny enough, to get the alien, to get the platinum trophy, you have to encounter the alien.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why I got the Pew Pew card. Yeah, this time around. But I got everything. But that's one thing I would want them to include, is the ability to have a card game like Queen's Blood. That's just the world renowned.
Anytime you want.
You can play anybody, and at certain times in the game, you'll come across certain, like Bugenhagen will have Red 13's card, and that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like the weird rules in certain areas. I love that. That's too similar to Triple Triad.
I would be fine if it was just Triple Triad, exactly, just with different characters and monsters. Yeah. I'd be like, fine, this is great.
It's a great card game.
It's just the rules to it were so simple and so good. It's just the AI was very weak. Like, they just always go for the corners.
And that was it.
Like, but I mean, what do you expect? You rarely ever lose, to be honest.
Yeah, unless a random rule came in. But yeah, that'd be my thing. Anything else you'd like to add on that trailer or this?
I want the Triceratops as a boss.
Yeah,
I really want that. From what I've seen, so Elena, like, have you seen what she looks like?
They did a re-render of her.
Blonde Tifa.
Yeah, but they've re-rendered her.
It still looks like Blonde Tifa to me.
Well, it looks less.
Even in this new trailer, like, I was like, that's Blonde Tifa. And she's a martial artist as well. It's like they got lazy. And I'm like, she's an important character.
And it's so funny because they released the initial trailer and they're like, oh my God, it's Blonde Tifa. And loads of people, and it's funny because, we've talked before about how the developers are definitely listening to the fandom, or they must be, because they're picking up on certain things. I was like, wow, they're very self-aware. But one of the clips that I saw on Reddit was someone being like, why did they do this with Elena? And there's a render of Elena from Crisis Core, the one that they remastered, and her hairstyle is different and she actually looks a bit different. And then there's the clip from the trailer, the first time she was introduced, and it was like, there's Blonde Tifa. Yeah. They're like, why didn't they? And then this new rendering of her, it is a little bit closer to the Crisis Core Elena, but you're right, it's still Blonde Tifa.
Blonde Tifa. I'm just like, oh my God, is that Tifa's evil twin? Maybe that's the way the story's going to go here.
Yeah.
It's not, because I read the book, and again, it's crap.
there's
but what I will say about that book, do you remember I was going mad that like Sephiroth clearly sliced Tifa up and she had no battle wounds whatsoever?
So it talks about how she actually went for a serious...
the book is almost entirely about that.
The wound.
One incident and the wound. Yeah. Almost entirely. Like, the book is pretty much 90% focused on that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that was a funny one.
As if that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting in that, like, you had a massive qualm about it ages ago.
I did, but I wouldn't want a whole book on just that.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, you got your answer, and it was in a whole book, you know? But yeah, I think this is... we're a month out, I think. Or just over a month out, I think there will be a demo by the end of this month on a state of play, and it'll be released day on day they'll be like, here's your demo, and I think I'll be playing that for the next 3 weeks after that until I can get my hands on the real thing.
Exactly, yeah. That's what we all want.
We're so close. And then we're going to do 4 years of the podcast where we just try and eat up anything for the third installment, Final Fantasy VII Revengeance, or whatever the fuck it's going to be called, you know. Anything else you'd like to add, Craig, or will we wrap it up there?
No, I think that's fair. This was a short enough trailer, and we don't want to go like too long on this one.
We've given, if you're interested, if you haven't listened to their episodes and you're kind of fresh to the podcast, you're just catching up on this and you're into Final Fantasy VII, and myself, Craig, and our good friend Kev go real deep in theory crafting on our other Final Fantasy Rebirth trailers. They're all named something to do with Final Fantasy Rebirth. So if you're interested in our theory crafting, we put tinfoil hats on, good-o, and we really break it down in those other episodes, so check them out. And listen, Craig, thanks a mil for popping up and talking about the trailer.
Always a pleasure to talk about Final Fantasy.
Anytime a trailer comes out, we'll be here. And to our listeners as well, enjoy this bonus episode. We weren't meant to do this. We were meant to take 2 weeks off, but when a trailer drops, you just got to be there. If you like the content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/gift of gaming. There's loads more stuff there. And until next time, next week when we get in our normal programming back up and running, until then, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.